All right, welcome back. So we've been talking about overcoming objections, and the biggest part about overcoming objections is the value build, right? Why do we need this? I speak to a lot of agents all the time, and when I hear and I talk to them and I'm asking them kind of questions about their presentation, a lot of times I find out they don't know that much about the client, okay? Well, the client, you can't lean into the need if you don't know that much about them. If I don't know anything about Billy Bob off the street and I go in there and tell him he needs a $15,000 whole life policy, he may not need a whole life policy. But if I lean in and I'm able to go through their finances, what's going to happen to them, do they want to be buried or cremated? Now I can say, hey, me and you both agree you need this. All right, so overcoming objections involves a lot of fact finding with your clients. We also want to talk about overcoming the objection of, I'm not going to give up my bank information. Okay, this is something I've dealt with for years, and in the senior market we see less and less of it, but it is something that we still see today. Okay, so how do we overcome that? A couple things that I like to do to talk about with a client. So you get to the point, you get them approved, and you say, all right, Miss Jones, we're going to start this on the 3rd of May. I need your routing and account number. And she says, oh, no, I don't give out my routing and account number to anyone. And you're sitting there saying, crap, what do I do now? Well, here's what I like to do. Acknowledge, Miss Jones, I completely understand. But one thing I do want to let you know is that all companies require a routing and account number to do an automatic draft, which they give you a discount for, okay? And here's the reason why. So before Miss Jones tells me, I don't care, I don't give nobody my info, I'm going to go ahead and validate why we need it. Ms. Jones, there's a couple reasons that a life insurance company wants your routing and account number, okay? First and foremost, your routing and account number does not allow them an open jar to dig their hand in and take out all the money out of your account. It can't be done, okay? So what does the routing and account number do? Well, the routing number allows them to find your bank. Okay. In fact, I can Google any routing number in the state of Georgia. So the routing number is not really private anyways. The account number allows them to find you at your bank. And what happens is the life insurance company sends a request from a validated source to your bank. Your bank then says, yep, this Mutual Omaha is a real company. They're requesting $58.33. Your bank releases the funds to go out. It does not give unlimited access to your bank account from the insurance company. They cannot go in there and just take out money. That is a common misconception. So I wanted you to be aware of that. But even more importantly, Miss Susie, is that, life insurance is about when you need it, and that is at the end of life. I mean, we're being honest, okay? So having your payment come out automatically protects you because your routing and account number never changes, all right? And I've been doing this a while, and I know that if you have to send in a payment, what can happen is you might forget to do that. Oh, I've been doing this for years. I've never forgotten a payment. Miss Jones, have you ever been in the hospital for 50 days? Have you ever been in a nursing home? Probably not. You know why? Because you're younger and healthier. Well, what happens as we get older, we become more feeble, we become less healthy, and that can lead to extended hospital stays, nursing home visits, so forth. If that happens, you're probably not running down to Western Union or to Walmart to send a money order to your life insurance company. And if that happens and your life insurance policy lapses, you're losing your coverage at the time you need it most. So we only operate with ACH deposits or withdrawals because that is what protects our clients, you, the most. If you're in the hospital, they're going to go and they're going to get their premium payment to make sure your policy never lapses. So it's to protect you. Another thing really important is the receipt you get. You're going to get a bank statement. The company's going to have a receipt of transaction immediately, and you're going to have it digitally at the bank as well. So you're going to get multiple locations where you're going to be able to prove your payment was made, so there's never a discrepancy. And so that's why we operate with a routing and account number. If you have a bank, we don't do quarterly billing or annual. It is just, in today's world, it is honestly less safe. And another thing I might say to them is, look, if you're sending a check to the company, do you understand that the routing and account number are at the bottom of every check? Did you know that? Oh, I didn't know. Well, that check has to be put in the mailbox, which gets picked up by some mail person and goes to some mail house and gets handled by 1,500 people and then ends up at the insurance company where somebody opens it and has to process it. Do you understand how many people put eyes on your routing and account number while they're processing everything? If fraud was going to happen, that would be the way it would happen, okay? By me putting into a secure portal your account routing and account number one time, nobody else puts eyes on it. In fact, the people that work there, most of the time, it's blocked out so they can't see it. So we operate this way. You know, obviously, I believe you need this coverage. And guys, as you're working with a client, if they really need this and it was just a fear thing, that right there, what I just said, is going to help them feel more confident in you, okay? Maybe showing them your business card, your website, the agency we work for, anything like that. How many 5-star reviews we have, our Facebook page. All of those things help build legitimacy and trust. So my challenge is, after you do that, if it's just a trust thing or a scarcity thing of losing their information, I believe, and I've done this multiple times, that at that point, they're going to be willing to be like, all right, I'm going to give that to you. So, and then one other thing I didn't mention is, I like to ask people, are you paying any payment automatically? It's very, very rare that you come across somebody who doesn't make a single automatic payment out of their bank, okay? So if you do come across that random person and they absolutely refuse it, you might not be able to offer them insurance. If, and this is 0.0001%, you come across somebody, they show you their bank statement, they've got plenty of money to make a payment on a policy, I would recommend they do it annually. And if they're not willing to mail a check annually, you need to move on to a different client, because you're wasting time trying to help somebody who's not letting you guide them. Remember, be the expert, and they'll give you the bank information.